This is ME and Blue TV. Take one. Not take two, take one. So this is, my name is ME Ster-Molnar, and I wanted to call this METV, but apparently that's been taken. So thank you to my friend Caro, Interactive, who was like, you can't use that. So I'm going to call this METV, and I decided to do this, I'm thinking once a week, very unscripted, with a certain theme to talk about my art or my practice or where my inspiration comes from. So today is the 10th of September 2021, and I thought I'd talk to you about the idea of patchwork or quilting, which seems a little weird because you're like, well, I mean, I think, don't you do monoprints? And well, yeah, I do monoprints, but I do a lot of other things. I come from a fashion background. I come from a grandmother who would go to yard sales and get lots of quilts, have lots of those. And then I come from another grandmother who taught me how to sew and to knit. Not sew on a machine, but a little more like crocheting and knitting. So the idea of quilting myself has actually been kind of a new concept. And so this past January, myself and my friend Angela who lives here in London, and Sarah, who lives in Norway, we all did a quilt together. And we did this through, this was not an original pattern. We took a class and we learned how to make all these patches from a woman, Anna Marie Horner, and she was on Creative Bug, and we had a really good time, and we bonded, and we had just a really good time. So it's kind of gotten me on the concept of like, how can I do this with my art, or what can I do to bring this into my practice? So I also started doing these cashmere quilts. These are on my website, and I want to think of these cashmere pieces as they're usable works of art. So when I make them, they are, I really do them improvisationally. And I wash this sweater. These are all cashmere. So I source cashmere, vintage cashmere sweaters, wash them, dry them, get the pills off, and then I use something called a serger to serge them together and put them together. So that's been my concept. And so the idea of the patchwork is really like, it's living in a way or thinking in a way that's very like, you make things work as they go along, as opposed to like, this is what the finished product is going to look like. It's more about like, okay, how can I just kind of move and groove to that idea, which is something I'm always trying to think about in my life. I probably overthink a lot, but I do try to do things very improvisationally. So I do a lot of these monoprints. These are called mini blooms, this particular size. And I like to think of these, if you started layering them on top of each other, this is almost like blocks of a quilt. They all go together. And I have a friend in Japan who bought a bunch of these and put them in a doctor's office. And they look beautiful together, and they almost remind me of a quilt. So each patch of a quilt or a block, this reminds me of. And so that's it for today. I'm working on a new collection which is going to embody this concept. But I think if you like this concept, think about when you're buying art or putting it up on the wall, how can you patch it together? And it doesn't have to be like, this is how it's going to look like. What if you just started with one piece, and then you add another, then you add another, then you add another, and then they all go together? Anyway, that's it for this week. Very unscripted. I might add a bit of music underneath this, but I don't want to make this too fancy. I just want to make this so that you enjoy it. Maybe you learn a little bit more from me. And I'm motivated to do it every week. So that's the idea. So this is the first episode of ME and Blue TV, unscripted, and this was about patchwork. Thanks for watching. Bye.